Good morning, everyone. This is Dan Panucci from Edu-Met. Hope everybody's well. Okay, so we're going to start our training session on the budget build area. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be recording this training session, and by the end of the day tomorrow, we will have it uploaded to our website. So I will give Celeste the information as far as how to get to the website and what the name of the video is going to be. So this way, if you miss something today, you can always go to YouTube, whether it's in the office or from home, and be able to connect and watch this training class over again. Okay, so we're going to start off. You should see an Edu-Met icon on your computer that you're on. So what we want to do is we will want to log in. Okay, and of course you're going to log in with whatever your username is. Okay, and that's what I'm going to be doing. All right, so you're going to use your login. You're not going to use what I'm doing, just whatever your physical login is. And what did I do? Losing it. I know. I'm typing in the wrong one. This is our training session one, and of course, I have a different login. So now I do have my login. I'm going to get it this time. All right. Okay, so you're going to log in, and of course, you're going to come up with our master menu screen. Okay, and what we're going to go do is we're going to log into accounting, and it's going to default to your 2016, 2017 year. We're going to press OK. Okay, and then we're going to go into the database. Okay, and you should see my screen looks very similar to yours. You have access. I think you may even have access to vendors, but you have accounts, purchase orders. And we're going to click on the budget build screen. Okay, now the data that I'm working on is in our offices. I'm not logged into the Atlantic City site, and I'm not changing any data in Atlantic City. This is all in-house that we're doing from our end. Okay, and what you'll notice is along the bottom, you'll see a lot of the items are shaded out. These are things that are more or less business office functions, so don't worry about it. It's supposed to look like that. Okay. And on the top of the screen is we have some filters, and this again is probably more administrative staff because you probably don't see that many accounts, so you can just scroll up and down on the left-hand side. But if you're dealing with multiple funds and only want to work on one fund at a time, if you click on the range, you can actually select. If you had multiples, you would see two funds, and you would be able to select the fund that you wanted to work on. Okay, but I'm sure most of the district is working with the Fund 15 stuff. Okay, and really that takes care of all the other functions. There's some functions on the right that you're not going to have the ability of changing. Okay, so we're going to start on the left-hand side. It will show you your appropriation account, the description, what the 16-17 budget is, and what the 17-18 request is. Okay, and you'll notice there's some numbers in there already for you. What we did this year is we had the ability of copying over all your requests from last year, and we populated the request area. So if you click on any of your accounts that do have a dollar amount under requested, you'll be able to see that whatever you had in there last year, we automatically saved you the trouble of having to go in there and re-add all the information. Okay. So you'll see that, you should see that data on some of your accounts that you have. Okay, so unless you're ordering something new, what happens is every account, if you go, like as an example, if I go to the first account, I click on the requested column for that account, and it'll come up, you're going to see two different folders on the top. You're going to see a general folder, and you're going to see a non-salary folder. Okay, so what you want to do, The difference is this is a general, you're just typing in a description, what your requested amount is, and what your amount approved is, and this is only temporary. Once all your input is done, then the business office gets involved with making any adjustments as far as to the approved. And then you also have a type, which is just like a major category for that particular line. Now, when you get into the non-salary, okay, this gets into where you're ordering quantities. Like I'm ordering how many books or paper supply or pencils. This gets into where you have a short description, and then you specify the quantity, the unit price. It automatically multiplies out the total, and it also populates the approved amount on the right-hand side. It should always be the same. Okay, if you already had information there, then you want to make sure you do the approved side also, which I'll go through with you in detail. Okay, and down at the bottom on any of these two screens, if you want to add a new line, you hit the add button. Okay, and it says you don't have any item code, but you'll notice a number 1 will appear, and then you go into the description, and again, let's say we say math books. Okay, you specify the quantity. How many do I want? Let's say I wanted 12. What the unit price is, let's say each one is $8.45. Okay, when you do an add, it automatically multiplies it out, and it automatically fills in the approved side. Okay, if you notice, we have the total requested, then we have the approved quantity, the approved unit price, and the approved total. Okay. And if we go back to the general, I'll start with the one I'd already added. Now, if you're just changing an existing line, what you want to do is you're going to change the requested, but you also want to change the approved to the same amount. Okay, and we could just do a cancel, and it'll leave the supplies there. Okay, so you want to, for a line that's already there, if you're changing the requested, change also the approved side. Okay, and you can have as many of these as you want. Like I can go on a general folder, I'll add, and it creates a second one, and I can just say textbooks and specify what I want as a budget for the textbooks. If you're adding one, it automatically populates the second side, the approved side, and then again, you could specify whatever you have. This is not your system, so you may have more items to work with. Okay? So if it's existing, change both of the sides. If you're creating a new one, just enter the amount of requested. It automatically does the second one. The more info, I don't think you're going to be using it. Basically, this will automatically slug in who's adding it, but I don't believe you guys are doing anything with defining any approved information referenced by or department information on this other screen. So I don't see you working with that. It just tells you who physically added. This will tell you who's physically added that line. Okay, down at the bottom, which the functions are similar to the non-salary, you have your add. Let's say there's something there you want to get rid of. You just highlight that line, you hit delete. It'll come up, it says you want to delete the line with the text items. You get rid of it. So you can add, delete, change the ones that are already there. Don't do the copy budget detail, because we did that for everybody automatically. So don't do this again, because it's going to double up everything. Okay, so this was already done. You don't have to worry about it. We're not doing anything. We don't use the load PO option there in Atlantic City, so you don't have to worry about that. If you're on this account and you want to work on another one, you don't have to exit out from here, then go to your next one and put in the information. Once you're in here, you can just do a find by account. It'll come up with the list, and you can say, okay, I want to go back to the first account. So once you're in these folders, you can just do a find. You don't have to go out, go in, or you want to do it the other way, that's fine. Okay. We have the audit. The audit just records who made the physical changes. So if you change something and you're not sure what was there, this will tell you the old data and the new data. As an example, down at the bottom, it was 24. I changed it to 25. The old one was the old data for 25. The new one is what I changed it to. So this, in case you do something, you can always go back and see what was there before you made the visual change. The return, of course, takes you right out back to the main screen. Okay? And also what we have, you can, let's say you don't want to do a find, you just want to do a next. You can do a previous and a next in the upper left-hand corner. I could do a next, and it'll take me, it's supposed to take me without prompting for it. You know what I mean? And it went to my previous work. Yeah, it still comes up. I don't know why it comes up with that. It doesn't think there's any there. Okay, that's the, again, that's reviewing the general folder. Again, in the non-salaried folder, it's the same concept, just what you're doing here is you're specifying a quantity. You're getting into quantity. How many do I need? Whatever you happen to be ordering. Okay? So if you notice on the bottom, it's pretty much the same thing, except this doesn't have the import from PO because we don't store this information on our purchase order as far as what we're ordering and things of that nature. And we have, here we have a notes field. If you wanted to make a notation, you can put a notation on this particular window. And we have the more screen similar to the general folder where it has who entered it and approved user field and department data. Okay, I hear my phone ring and I'm just going to check and see if it's Atlantic City that's calling me. Nope. All right, now when I exit out of this screen, okay, this total is a combination of both of the folders. Okay, so it'll add up the 10440 plus the 2400. Okay, so whatever the total is on both of the screens, that's what you're actually requesting, combination of the two. Okay, so you see that information. Okay, this is rather, it's really not that difficult. We'll field some questions just with any user has a question. Really, that's the extent of working on your budget. Again, I hope we made it a little bit easier populating these two screens for you so you don't have to key all that information back in again. Okay, down at the bottom, and this again is more an administrative tool. We have what's requested, and then we have requested with include current staff. Well, you don't get involved with current staff would be all your employees. You don't budget for that information. You know what I mean? So all you're seeing is your anything other than payroll, supply accounts, you know, any accounts other than payroll. That's what you see on the screen. Okay. If you get down to approve, eventually when the business office starts reviewing these, you're going to have on it, if you notice on both of the folders, where we have our two columns. Same thing with the non-salary. We have our requested and approved. So what you'll be able to see is if you click on the approved, excluding staff or including staff, it doesn't matter. Again, you don't see the payroll. You'll be able to see if whatever you budgeted was reduced. You know what I mean? So if I clicked on requested, as an example, we'll do one. If I go in here and I say, okay, you're only going to get 2,000, it just comes up with that window. You can just cancel out of it. If we go back, okay, I have my requested of 2501, but if I click on approve, you'll notice it's only 2,101. Okay, you'll see that it's been reduced by 400. Okay, so you could use this later on if you're able to log in when they start approving it to see what the difference is between your budgeted and your approved column. Okay. I don't know if you have access to any of the reports. The reports are pretty self-explanatory. You know, if you run them, they ask you a series of questions, and it comes up with the report. But I'm not even sure what reports you have access to. All right. So I really don't follow with that. Other than that, I do believe you have the option of going into previous years. Like, let's say for some reason you wanted to look in last year. I don't have a 15-16. I have a 12-13. You're able to go into the previous year and be able to look at your numbers that you requested. Okay, of course, you can't change anything. once the year is closed, but it does give you the ability of looking at it. Okay, and then when you're really done, you can go in and out as many times as you want. I'm sure Celeste is going to give you a time frame on when she wants this done. Okay, and basically that's it. It's not a difficult process for the department end of it. When we get into the business office, there's a receipt side, there's add deletes of accounts, control areas, which allows you to do all your salary updates. So there's more to the budget build, but from your end of it, it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to use. All right. And this main screen here, again, you're not using the functions on the right-hand side, but once your budgets are made, it shows you the difference in dollar amount, and it'll show you the difference in percentage. Okay. At this point, field some questions because there's really not that much to it. I really stepped through the both of them already. So, but this is what your total requested is going to be, where your comparison comes into play. Okay. I know we can't all talk on the phone at the same time. Stand by, let me see. Yeah, find out if there's any questions, and if there's not, okay, we'll have this by the end of the day tomorrow. It will be on our website, not on our website. It'll be on the YouTube website, and you'll be able to review it again if you want. Okay. And of course, we'll wait for a response first, see if we have any questions, or if we're done this way, I'll just. I will email we actually have a link on YouTube that takes you right to our video, and I will put the name of the video because you name them. We have a lot of we're going to be having a lot of videos. So I will email Celeste that information, and she'll forward it to the rest of the employees in the district that are going to be able to access it. So it'll be on YouTube, but instead of going to YouTube and trying to find Edu-Met, we actually have it what they call a channel, and I'll be giving you that link to our channel where you just see all our videos. You don't see anything else. Okay, and don't forget the data that you're working on is live. So if you want to play with it just to get a feel for it. But remember that you're working with live data. I'm working on test data, so it doesn't matter. Okay. Any other questions, or whenever we're done, just send me a chat where everything is satisfactory, and we'll say goodbye. Okay, fantastic. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan.
And we'll talk to you in the future. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.